Start. It's a marvel this internet works at all. I wonder that every time.
Yeah.
How does any of this stuff work anyway?
Yeah.
It's usually once that gets going.
And the more we learn about it, the more of an ability and the more potential it will have for us to use it to create the changes that are required
Ah,
by showing the way. Yeah. Or as they say to me, by being the light.
ah,
Kawasas namake yan.
yeah. Well, welcome, welcome. If you're just tuning in, we're just getting fired up here. Another Sunday night story session. We've got Wes Fineday with us again tonight. This time tuning in from Sweetgrass. And yeah, that's pretty exciting. So,
Nagiwachik,
Nagiwachik.
the edge of the hills.
Yeah, and there's
Because
this.
we
Go
live
ahead.
on the Eagle Hills escarpment, and then they end and they go down and they become a prairie, but we live at the top, at the edge of the hill.
Hmm.
Nagiwachi.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, if you're standing there on the north side, then it all drops off into the sandhills area,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah. And then strike him on the back, and then it goes west, and there's just this humongous valley.
Well, then I was
That's
surprised as well to find, because I stopped in, I can't remember if it was October or January. I think it was January when I stopped at Mantu Sagaigan on the way back, and I was surprised it too drops off in a very similar way to get down to the water there.
mm,
Yeah, what a beautiful place.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome, welcome. So if you're just tuning in, actually, what I'm going to do is, so I went through and found where we got to on the story last time. Let's see, I think it was 187. And what I like to do usually is we'll go back a couple minutes just to get back into the story. So tonight we're talking about the story is how Sweetgrass became chief, which is one of the first stories that we worked on when we recorded that first week in Sweetgrass. Hell Cameron Tagoteo, Kanaskum Tinawa Wesson Aaron, he says. Mia Sinu Maka Tagosinian. Hal, it's good to have you. Bill the boys here. Yeah, we're getting our crew here, so we'll get fired up. By the way, just started uploading the second week of stories. Also, if you're not, where do I find that now? If you go from TikTok or Facebook, you can find my link tree, the link in my bio, and you can find our project here, Sweetgrass Stories, a 21st Century Perspective. I just started uploading videos from the second week of recording, which I'm calling the first set Papa, because it's sort of little bit by bit of stories coming as we got kind of warmed up that second week. So, but
Pahpake could
yeah,
be translated as bits and pieces.
bits and pieces, bit by bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which is, I think, which is good because I think just from my own experience, there's a powerful kind of teaching in there. Like if you get too much information at once, it's almost like there's a method or a reason for just that kind of little bit at a time. It's as to not overwhelm someone maybe. Yeah, so you can find those there. And what we'll do is we'll go back a little bit. Maybe we're at about 18 and a half minutes, and we'll go back maybe 2 minutes in the story just to get caught up on where we left off last time. So maybe, let's see, maybe right around here.
Osam taps kutse uitau na mago sa te wakan kigawi chihu eto ma.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Is that audio coming through for you, Wes?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right. That should be working for everyone else. We'll just let that run and get caught up to where we were.
Kikan tau ki spinata ke kuta huihun. Na pe huihun. Ta poesa. Tahtori skama. Kawanska chike gi spahta chike kute homa. O gi tau kamik. Ento a penge chigma. Chesko ge se pueste ta poche o oi te ksisigi go no te sketa. Espiko ma se pueste ki kapnt sahatsik. Ake sagi tahto mekte I tohte chiko ma hoin panaujak. Hasa e chiko ma. Egi se pueste chiko ge. Ni pa tepsko ge. O ki chihtawak. O saame gi skehta kik. Ki spinawa se sak. Ka koe wiche koe a koma. Stahi kap muuta mihkonak. Na moi ka gipm pamehano kape ehta haya kok sikau ka isse puhtia. Puhti au ek toho si kape wai nito he kape ehta hat uskini gissa puavassa kispine no so tegotsek. Ek se sanma kaks kehta ka kiimaska tehtävä ja kaiku hunt. Että on eikin nohti uitsehu ei tektoa kanma. Mä keesegi kiisei tahkoma. Kiam jes puhteetsik. Nika maa tahawak he tehoma. Ja tii tuhteetsik tehkeisi. Eikö nika noosaa. Kiispin niiso kiiskawa punsto kiisikau. Uiga kiisi paigi. Puete ko ek taha sai ni gata te maukoma. Ega kispin tonua hioa se tajaatsik no moi ngapegi et sauhak.
Yeah.
Osam ki kustamak ki kam sehaatsik hoto asem sewa. Kispin bewainut sa hata tansigi eitin geita. Puetke kas tewa essa taha puhkota kahaisinoa. Kahutun Google.
And that's where we start off tonight. So if you're just tuning into this story, you can find this story on the YouTube as well, How Sweetgrass Became Chief. And we're we're about halfway through the story, I guess, but about how
That's
the young...
a beautiful story, man.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's, and we're at the point where, the one who had the young man, he's about, I think, 16, you said, and he's got no name. And the young ones would gather around when the scouts would go out on expeditions or whatever. And so they showed up at the Warriors Lodge in the morning and they're gone. And he's like, okay, it's no big deal. I'll let them get a head start and then they won't be able to send me back. Eh? Yeah. So, and it gets better from here. So let's pick up there. I think we're on 189 and we're going to have, what a treat we have Wes with us here tonight to interpret and translate his story in his own words. So we're getting kind of the best of both worlds. And so let's just get started right here.
There's
one more little bit to that. Yeah. Would you say, but when he left this one with no name?
Yeah.
Egi pea gotesa.
He was all alone.
He was all alone.
Egu ne hegi kim.
Oh, I missed one here. Tisqua.
Agu kagi wiche wat kagi wipnt sahotoma.
But these ones that kagi wiche that he was with, kagi wipimitsohot, the ones that he intended to follow.
Egu ne hegi kim maskategot.
They had left him behind secretly.
Magigi tehtä huo tehette koe. Paksemo tahte keise.
I'll play it again.
Magigi tehtä huo tehette koe. Paksemo tahte keise.
But he thought probably this way in the direction of the setting sun, which would be the west. Paksimotak.
Ki tohte o ko saa me tehmanakaan niitä ajaa tsikuukin kaskteva jäsetak.
Would probably be the direction they went, because that would usually be where the Blackfoot were.
Hekte ngaisse puhtaan kiito eikä ei kimskahke tahome.
I will go in that direction, he said, after he could not find.
Eikä mohteitohe.
Where they had walked, these warriors.
No moi kimskahtaan se. Ki kaisi mataha. Yksi se suuskoats.
He could not understand or find a way to track them. And so he just
Kiette maatse homo teise.
so he just traveled off in this direction.
Paksemota.
To the west.
Eikö nan touteepa kohkisse kauikin mohteet.
And it was after approximately 7 days of walking
Ntaku uhkoma. Ei taat manan hinuutokoa.
luckily, or nitake, Mahti, let's hear that again.
Ntaku uhkoma. Ei taat manan hinuutokoa.
Nitake, it's, he used to say to that old woman, he used to tell that old woman, or luckily he used to tell that old woman.
Kagi uhpigihkot.
Who raised
Minan
him,
hikseinoa.
also that old man.
Kagi uhpigihkot. Eigi omosomahkomaat. Eiko heigi uiohkomahkomaat.
Who raised him and who he referred to as grandfather and grandmother.
I think these two words are so cool. The way to be able to use that relational word, like, we know, like, Musom is like grandpa, Nuhkom is grandma, but to say Eomusumahkomat, like to have a relation to that one as a grandparent or a grandfather, like it's just a really interesting, such a cool way to be able to say that.
Yeah, and you could say that you know, looked at him as a father, or egi o kauia ko mat, egi o sima ko mat, or egi o stesa ko mat.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, that usually refers to not blood relations, but more, customary adoption relationships.
Interesting. Wow, that's really cool.
Which in some areas, they are held in higher esteem than a blood relative. And in other areas, you're able to be a lot more relaxed and joking and, than you would be with a blood relative. Like you could tell them stories you couldn't tell your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a bit more here.
Mga napewa nakiat pakakamegiat nagatasket.
But that man, I think he had probably died.
Eksawagi piago no to go pikahato.
And so this old woman raised that boy alone.
Iko ke uskini gito.
Until he was a young adult.
Ikai ko I hunt kai si ka soitman. Kai si katime.
The one with no name, as he was called.
I missed a word there on that. Play that one more time.
Ikai ko I hunt kai si ka soitman. Kai si katime.
There.
Igi ki te ma te gi ki te māgei ma me to neko e aske gi ka koe pa me hato ma.
She thought highly of him. She was compassionate and kind to him. Again, let's hear that again.
Igi ki te ma te gi ki te māgei ma me to neko e aske gi ka koe pa me hato ma.
She tried to raise him very well and proper.
O yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Na mo yao ya he yao a te gi ki watsit ana.
Yeah, because that one had no other relatives. He was an orphan.
Na mo yoni gi kwa he ki e awat ki kwa ke ka o pigi kot mina ko e aske kap mi se kiskino hama ko te kso he.
He did not have parents to raise him and teach him properly. And so
no to go he gi ka no im ko te ko ne kin e ko ne he gi ka kiskino hama ko te is.
And so he was kept by this old lady who tried to instruct him properly.
E sa ispiti toma.
As well as she could.
Ki kan stort mit. Ki
To
kan stort
understand.
morkot.
To help him understand.
Men ne hiau matsoen, ne hiau bikswewen.
This Cree way of life, Cree language, and other things.
Exisi, when you say exisi in that context, it's like these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Be safe to say that? Yeah.
yeah.
Exisa.
And so it was.
Yeah.
Egi sipuehte toma.
After he was gone,
Tepa kohki sigao epa mohtet mana.
7 days he had walked,
Ego kaki sigaik. Egin to naknan to.
and
Ispatai.
during the day he looked for a place,
Ektaki gantoga so kispne sagaik.
a hilly place that had a bush where he could go and hide.
Wahyo kappa kagaski ta kaisin na to apit.
Where he could see far away. From where he could see far away.
Ega kasikutui kutauya.
So he would not be
Wapamkote.
startled or surprised by anyone who saw him.
Eksan mahito ko ete
And so it was that
ete wapanigoma. Aina neugi siga omego ha se pe machi hot
became
muya o ya
morning
o
on the
simsko ato
7th
hogi.
day of his journey. On the morning of the 7th day of his journey.
Ete wapanigoma. Aina neugi siga omego ha se pe machi hot muya o ya o simsko ato hogi.
He did not find anyone of these warriors. They had managed to lose him.
Eksesan ma peago tipskaigoma ete.
And so it was one evening.
Ete kakikse pa aigoma. Don egai
And going towards morning, but not quite day.
Not quite day.
Kagiwa pahtak mino teisi ispatinas.
Where he saw another hill.
Ek tehan to sinna to apen kihte tamis.
We will go over there and look around from there, he thought.
Ek tehan megiata matsoet.
And so he went and started climbing up that hill.
Yatsage wetta kosne te mättano takika kwahikas oho hemi guapa.
When he got to the top and managed to look on the other side, there were a great many teepees set up there.
Oh, yeah.
Ega kaita skisoito he.
And by the way the lodge poles were set,
Apasoya. Kikske tam. Na moi ogine hiak.
he knew these were not Cree.
Speaking of lodge poles, I will just toss this out there right now. Wes was asking the other day if somebody knows how to make teepee poles. We're looking for a set to be made for. How big is that teepee you said again?
My teepee is a 24-foot teepee, and I want to set it up in my yard, and I want to do about a 4-day workshop or a series of 2-day workshops that I, could use as that.
Mm.
So people, I mean, I'm willing to pay for the posts and stuff, but I wouldn't be able to put it up. But
Yeah.
if people were able to come and give a hand doing that, then we could spend a day making old offerings or talking about culture and language and,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you
so
know,
just putting it out there, if anybody knows somebody in the TP pole trade there, we'll get a start on that and try and get this set up for Wes here anyway. While we're on the topic of lodge poles.
because it seems like I'll be quite busy out here, and part of what I had been deciding to do was to make this place available, for people like the group you work with who are quite focused and dedicated. Well, you want to learn the language? Well, have the culture as the foundation.
Yep.
That'll make that language learning meaningful.
Yep. Sounds like we're planning. Some kind of event or gathering here. So we've got some work to do, folks.
And also, I was thinking, it would be nice to have those poles and to have it set up at Sweetgrass powwow and culture camp and stuff, and have a language component being operated out of that teepee, and to do the old stories and things like that.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
So
I
mean, I have it. I might as well put it to use.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, put the word out there. Edward Okaney says, mention Aaron Zorthian. Edward, can you message me, or I'll message you after the live, and we'll pull on that thread and see if we can get some TP polls lined up here. All right, let's keep going a little bit here.
Pitos mana kaitas kita tikwi ao nehi
They put their lodge poles differently, these Cree.
Omiko apua pitos mana gitas ta tiko hapasoya.
In their lodges, in their teepees, they used to set up the poles in a different fashion. Apasoi. He just reminded me. That Okini name is from Thunderchild, I think. But Thunderchild had a daughter named Apasus, a little lodgepole. And that was Sam Fineday's first wife, Nemosomo Wasak. And they had a baby. That baby was named Edward, but Ed Thunderchild. So we have relations in that, through that line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do a little more here.
Namoy hiyo takayat.
These are not Cree here.
Ekse sagika ka so minektas soneo senase.
And so he stayed hidden near the village.
Ategi mi che tita isinoa.
Although there were many people,
Ektan manegi wasagamiska tahtogiska.
he used to circle that village every day during the night.
Tante hugo ute mua wahika noi magic.
Where do they keep their horses?
Horses. I just need to message my kid here real quick. Tisqua. Oh, and I got a message from Eden as well saying that she knows someone who makes teepee poles. So we might get this. We might get this figured out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So we'll get things straightened out here. All right.
Kigai o muuta heastegoma.
What is it that is here?
Kagi kispin.
That could be earned if
Pihkohoche kispin kaskihoche.
if he was free and if he was able
Kagi wehtato chigigoi. Ekte.
to bring something home from over there.
Kigai kagi petat.
What could he bring back?
Esekte homamina.
And also over there,
I think that was Oma, not Awa.
Piagono kagindomskoat napewa.
in one specific place, he went and discovered a man.
Hektahan mamsati mohikanoi matawa napeo.
It was there that man was keeping horses.
Nistum tanawai wak.
Over 30.
Masate mohigi awatan. Igi kanoi tamohi.
Horses he had that he had been entrusted to keep.
Ete koe na napeo.
Probably that man. There were many horses. It was there that he went and waited. At one time in the evening. He crept up on that man. And apparently it was Blackfeet that he went and found. As he was approaching, he tried to be very stealthy. So he would not be seen or be heard.
Tapos samton chige kita kohta tan kita to sagagi pasigo pa tatan to ne na tatan.
And truly he got very near that man, and then he jumped up and rushed over to him.
Koma ne kita ta
His grandmother had loaned him a knife to carry with him.
I'll put it this way, that knife
that he carried had been loaned to him by his grandmother.
he had been loaned to carry with him.
Yeah.
Eukoanan me segi apachi tato hikaskte oyaseta enutnaat.
That was what he used when he was fighting this Blackfoot.
Tapo segi kaski taten pahat.
And he was able to kill him.
Niko toase saap.
Oop, why did that? Just let me make that, fix it.
Niko toase saap. Nantoi tahtopunet. Kia peti awasiut.
Almost 16 around. He was 16 years old around, still a child.
Magiging tao sago hatan he.
But he went and defeated that one.
Ukaskte oyaseta.
Blackfoot.
Ekse sa semak. Egi pe se puet sa hatan him satimo.
And so he immediately began to herd the horses back.
Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the comments. I see there's a few. I get caught up in the story, and so I wasn't really paying attention there. Cameron Adams, kimosomno tago teo mia sin. Yeah, Relic says this is so much easier with Wes in here. Yes, yes. What's interesting, Bill, is there's a few spots where it was like, you know, I was close, but those little corrections make such a big difference. To just be like, oh, that's what that means. That's really interesting. Bill the Boy says if there's a TP workshop on the weekends, he could make it up. No work Friday for me, Bill says. That would be from Rocky Boy. And
Yeah, well. Oh, from Rocky Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple learners in the group that are tuned in quite regularly from just across the border there. Yeah, Neil says having Wes here is like having the answer key to the test. The cheat sheet. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Arden says, sorry I can't help with the teepee poles. No trees up here, she says. Probably still up in Baker, I'm guessing. Yeah. Native M30. Tansitauia. Aha, mitaniguayask. Tapwe. Yeah. And Cameron says, Kitamska tin to Wes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sin.
Kista.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Okay, let's keep going here. We got a good crew tonight, so let's keep going. We're just getting to the good part of the story here.
And when he used to tell the story, he would tell for 2 days and 2 nights. I chased those horses. I would only stop for brief periods of time to let them drink and to let them graze.
Misate magoma. Egi kustaman ki kapiatem chigoge.
These horses. I was afraid they would catch up to me.
Just fix that one little there.
Ka tau ka peo tohte anete ka peke motamo go.
These ones from where I had come, where I had stolen these.
O te moa.
They're horses.
They're horses.
Maga ni speakan he.
But when at the time
Ka gintaon pahatan he was te oaseta.
that he went and killed that Blackfoot, the knife he was using,
I get a little self-conscious, right? The whole internet's watching me type right now.
Ka gi aui ko tohoma ki ka sepuesta.
that his grandmother had loaned him to take along.
He kisin pahate sa nagas te oaseta han he.
After he had finished killing that Blackfoot,
Tane segi no git ektaho segi o chiptak maskusia.
he bent over and pulled up a handful of grass.
He wan mo kaman tane mi ko hekta he pinchuani ge giotna.
And with that, he wiped the blood that was still flowing on his knife off.
He gi kasina.
He wiped it off.
Ka kyo mi ko han me kwe. Utna ko santa mo komane ke ksika o kiesta.
He was trying to remove all the blood from the knife, and then he replaced it.
E ko kikskehtam. Kispinta kohtia ne ka o mite ka o tohtia ne hiana.
And he knew that if I should return back to Cree country,
Kanohte skehta mo goma kispin ki koi kikta kohtia ne tansimage gis pi kohta manohe.
there would be curiosity if I brought something back. How did I earn it? How did I earn it?
Accomplish it, would you say?
Yeah. How did I? Yeah, man. That would work. How did I accomplish this?
Tante he giuhtinaman.
Where did you get it from?
Nikaka ko itsimwak.
I would be asked.
Ei ko husame pegoyan.
And because I was alone,
Ahwe tuwe na mo inga tapwe tagwak. Uya.
I might not be believed.
Na mo ikehte iu yan magake apicho me gise. Egisi pi kohta maso anom.
Because I was not old, but still I was able to accomplish this.
Se san ka ui pe se puete tan he ka gia pachi ta to mo ko mane pa ko ha ke ko ni ni ki pe o poko te hone ki pe se kona.
And so it was when he was leaving that place. What he had used to clean his knife, he stuck it into his belt.
Ki spinta ko te ano te ka o ne hiana.
If I should get back into Indian country, or Cree country, that would be, yeah.
Ka koe chim ko ia ne tan te ki to te an tan se ki ais pai ko ano mang ni ka chimon.
If I should be asked, where have you been and what have you experienced, I will be able to tell a story.
O ke ka ki pim ska ki kas te waya se tak mi na ka gin tom ska ka gin to nut na ka gin to sa go ha ka mi sa te mo ka ka no e mat.
These ones that I went and found, also this one that I went and found and went and fought and defeated these horses that I earned.
E ko hani gout ne no he maskusia.
And
E
I
ko
will
ne ki o
take
a
these
pahteng
grass,
au.
and I will take this grass, and you will see.
E ko o magas te waya set omi kom. This is the
This
blood
is
of
the
a black.
blood of a Blackfoot.
E ki pa ko hamane ta ne mo ko manoma.
I used these to wipe my knife.
E ki sa kam ksiane ki sin pahagana.
After I was done, after I had killed him.
E se sa ta po e ka ki pe se po e te
And so it was that he left.
ni so ki ska o ni sa tips ka o ton so ska te pe pai te speech ka
2
skita.
days and 2 nights he rode as hard as he possibly could.
Could
E ki pe so ke sa hatan him sa te ma.
He chased those horses hard.
E go hen stogi ska go me go he te wa panik.
And at the beginning of the 3rd day,
Stogi se ga e go ho ma sa e go he pe te tapet.
3 days he had been riding.
He pe pim sa hato he sa te ma.
Following these horses.
Ka ki naks ka te kuta.
It was there that he met
Unta wahta wahu. Ne hi
the
on
scouts,
wahta wa.
Cree scouts.
An ki ma na ka ki papam ska chigo ma. Ne hi o ski sone.
These ones who patrolled the borders of Cree territory.
Now, there's some folks in the chat that know. Oh, Jisqueb, Neil, let me back up. I missed it. We're not paying attention to my comments here. A Nipahuk, not a Nipahut. Let me just go back and see if I can find it.
E ki sa kam ksiane ki sin pahagana.
He's in Nipahuk after I killed him.
There's some folks in the chat, I'm sure, that know I want to stop and talk about this word. Gagi pim papamskatsik. So papamskatsik. Oh, so now that'd be patrolled. For some reason, I thought that was pimiska, but papamska, that would be different, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be the ones who were riding the boundaries of Cree territory, but before that, a Papamiska would refer to the migrations.
Ah. See, this word I learned to mean like paddling. And that's sort of what we have in the dictionary. And so when I heard it the first time, I was confused. But in this context, you're saying it means more so like patrolling.
What? Paddling? Oh, I was thinking spanking for some reason.
No, paddling
Now
like
who-
in a like
Now
in a
who-
canoe.
Who taught you that?
When we went on this canoe trip a couple of years ago, and that was one of the words that we learned. It's like
Yes, yeah.
pimiska or papamiska.
Yeah, Papamiska, to float around.
Ah, to float
Yeah.
around. Okay, that's
And
interesting.
Pimiska, to paddle around.
Okay. But in this context, papamska like to patrol.
Patrol the boundaries, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And before, it would refer to the migration routes that came from the north and south and back from the north to the south, from the south to the north. That's where a lot of the people, I believe around 1100, for instance, there was some Navajo who were here. Was that the year of the 2 winters? The 2-year winter. There's stories about these things. I have to sort them out. The winter that lasted 2 years. But they got split up by the Algonquin or the Cree coming from the east. And that was after there had been a great encampment. Ite mano manipika misipaki tik. That would be around Niagara Falls, I imagine. But Cree coming back and some of the Navajo were ready. They had already left to go back. Some were still here and were surprised by these people coming. And so rather than heading back south, they fled north into the bush. And that's where we have these Dene. They have the same language as a Navajo. Yeah. But there's a story of that separation, the great separation it's referred to as.
Ah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting. Ah. Damien says, Granaskum Tinawao. That way. Oh, we've got, if you're just tuning in, we've got Wes Fineday with us tonight, and we're going through some stories that we recorded last fall. This one in particular, how Sweetgrass became chief. We're just at the good part right here. Let's get a little bit, yeah, we're doing good for time. Let's do a little bit more here.
Egi mohte chikmani papaka noita koma otatskiwa.
They used to travel or they used to walk. Eki pimohte chik, they used to walk to secure the boundaries of their land.
Ega iau ia ke te ho meo chi ki ka peito te ki ka pe sikotui kochik.
That no one who was not from there would arrive and surprise them.
Maka ki spinau ia tako te chi ka kawapa ma chi ka pe wai no pai chi ko mai sini na ke sikau.
But if they did see someone, they were to ride back to where the people were.
Kika pe uihta maa tiko haisino kika ui to samu goche.
to come and tell the people to get prepared because of this.
E pe a chikchige.
Someone is coming near.
A poitege.
And
Nama e mi
perhaps
o sinik kiko ika pe o sip mohtechik.
what they come for is not positive.
A poitege.
Okay, got that.
Ykse sanma.
And so it was.
Ki pe ja. O samu se iko ke ginesto set.
Osamoche because of how tired he was.
Kansto ki se kai koma.
On the third day,
Kapten tehtap tohe. Me satemo.
that he was riding on these horses.
I'll get your question in just a second there, Ken.
Egipna nan pe pait. Iko ke nesto set.
He was falling asleep. He was starting to fall asleep. He was so tired.
Magigi kostak. Kika nagit. Kika mayastesi.
But he was afraid to stop and rest.
Lanto se pe no sa te go tohe.
In case these ones were chasing him.
Interesting.
Ahpoit ke gamskagu gispin pat.
Perhaps they would find him if he fell asleep.
Maga honto ahtawa ho hika pe nakska tonto ahtawa go ki pe ispaiwak.
But he met the scouts, and these scouts came riding toward him.
He pe nakska atigo he kai ko I hont kap mai te go seta.
They came to meet him, this one who was called, the one with no name.
Yksi sa ki tewak kiwe.
And so they said to him, "Go home."
Ko komu omi ko pim he to te ndo astes ne don pa you know.
Go to your grandmother's teepee. Have a rest. Go and sleep.
Tenet tapsku so menes to sino mes nagusin.
You look like you are really tired.
So asni na no gin naga naga tohka na go gim sa te makka pe kiwe tahjik.
Anyway, we will look after these horses that you have brought back.
Yksi sa tapui. Uia awan ga on to ahtawa ki pe kiwe tsahu go he me satemo.
And so it was these scouts who drove those horses home.
Nestom ta nawai wakin sto. E se gi ta kohta hatu tahadam satemo.
33 horses were what he managed to bring back, this one with no name.
E gohte pia ki te ka gisuskin I toma.
And he was only starting to become a young man. It cannot be said that he was already a man. But when he arrived, all night and all day, he slept straight through. Probably because he was so tired. Agisa nakita ete Wanskat, and at one time he woke up and went to check on his horses. It was then that he knew how many horses he had brought back. 33.
Just had a question come in from Ken a minute ago. That's all. He says, Aaron, is there a way to access the transcriptions on Kiano, or is it by invite only? So these ones here, we haven't built in a way yet to publish transcriptions, but that's something that we're working on. And so what we'll have eventually is a way to, once we've got a transcription sufficiently kind of polished or whatever, then we'll have a place where you can go and sort of, maybe even like YouTube style, like watch the video and then read along in both languages. We're still arguing over the name, whether it's sort of like, I'm thinking like a theater mode or something like that, where people will, if we have select transcriptions that we can publish in there. For the time being, you can kind of find this one, like it's not super secret. Let's see, if we go into the database, and I could just share the link with you too, Ken. You can, because we have this, if you have an account on Kiano Transcribe, you would be able to access the transcription through the database or through the link directly, and you could go in there and kind of read-only mode and check it out if you want. So we are working on a publishing system. We will get there, but for the time being, if you go poke around in the database, and if you find a word, like nesto su, right? Let's look at that one. Actually, let's do it from here. I need to update this to find a way to search the verbs, but you can kind of page through these. And let me see, we'll see if I'm, Naskamo, we'll see if I can see a word. Uitapmeo, no. Itato piponeo, I bet that one has one. Itato piponate. Yeah, so there we go. I found this word here. If we go to this one, etato piponate, I know that word is in the transcription, so we can see there's the sweetgrass story right here. So it is discoverable. You can go in and find it, but I can provide you the link directly to the transcription as well. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Just double check I didn't miss anything else before we get back. I think we got it. Okay, let's do a little bit. Yeah, we still got some time. Let's do a little bit more here. So it was then that he knew how many horses he had brought back. 33.
That was how many he had brought back.
I always forget what that Eitziga. It's kind of like apparent. It turns out Eitziga.
Kima maskata mogaisinoak.
People were amazed.
Awasasa. Apeitakamksit.
This is a child who has accomplished this.
My puzzle. Just gotta do my little TikTok puzzle. There we go.
Ego hugi chihta wagoge. Kagi sipueste. Chikagi no tepnt sahata.
And these warriors who had left, the ones that this young man had wanted to follow,
Namoyo jimskoyo.
he did not find them.
Magakita to wisto kapegiwe chigisa.
But at one time they returned.
Mtun namagigo yo chipehta wago magika no gohta chik.
They brought absolutely nothing back that they could show.
Kiko kapi gohta chigo mite wisto aga gisin topai.
That they had earned also on this expedition that they too had been on.
Expedition. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right.
Te piaki gipe o aino kiwe chigo wanan mo te piaki gipe kiwe tachik.
The only thing they brought home was that they were able to return home.
Interesting phrasing. That's really cool.
Age se guanto no me gi wiko keho ma. E nika mohk.
There was feasting and singing.
E ka gisi mohko me na nasko mehto awa.
And ceremony, giving thanks.
Hoskini go.
This young
E
man,
gohko ma.
Yegohoma.
Ka gisi ta tahkamik setoma.
kaki isikakihtiehtä hakamikset, egi koskuehtame.
That he
Let's
had.
listen to that again.
Ka gisi kakihtiehtä
yes.
tahkamik setoma.
That he'd done such a.
Kaki isikakihtiehtä hakamikset, that he had done such a worthy deed. That he had brought back so many horses.
Hekta he salmi me ka mohta o ke mawa ho he ka gintomgut.
And it was at that time during the singing that the chief called out to him.
Hastam. Peatsimusta
Come and tell us a story.
Tante ho megi papa mache hoin mina tante hoge he peo tohta hachigoge.
Where did you go in your travels, and where did you get these from that you have arrived? back with.
Tanse isipi ho tama so no higo kape misigiwe chicken.
How did you manage to accomplish such a big
Eksesekta kip nimi to.
and it was that time that he danced? How did you manage to accomplish such a great thing, you could
Tanse
say on that?
isipi ho tama so no higo
Great thing.
kape misigiwe chicken.
Yes,
En kamus tamato.
it was singing for him.
E kai ko ui hun.
The one with no name.
Ego he gis nimi to te se ka ki achi motoma.
And after he had danced, he told his story.
Speak he ego ke gino te wiche wato he ugi chihta wa magi ki maskatikot.
He talked about how he had desperately wanted to go with these warriors, but how they had snuck away on him.
Ego namo yo chikaski tat ki ka ate mata po ki kamskat.
And he was not able to find them, or he was not able to catch up to them or find them.
Magi ki maya ka me mot.
But he persevered.
He papea gotoma.
Although he was all alone.
Ego kaskte oja sit nahke sagagi tago teto mekta kagi mawa sagami skak manote nasoma.
And it was Blackfoot country that he arrived at, that he went and circled that village.
He papanto apen get kigo ekta hei takoni kigo estate.
He was looking around to see what was there, and what was available.
Tansi
What was available?
he papanto apen get kigo ekta hei takoni kigo tansi se ei si tike ei tas tike ito he.
And what were they doing, and how were they organized?
Kaskte oja sitä.
These Blackfeet.
Ego kia timuan higagin tom skoate teim satimo.
And he told of how he went and found that one with the horses.
Minaa he pea gote sa nā peo.
And also this man who was alone.
Ekta he nā kato ke te ka noi mato him satimo.
Who was watching and looking after these horses.
Ekta ka ki ati mote se gi pape hot.
And he told of how he waited there.
Ke gats ka pe ki sik.
Almost all day.
Anga nia tu takse ni ke se ka gi ma chip na chius chike toma.
But as evening was approaching, he started to approach stealthily.
E pim na chius to ato he.
Stalking this one.
o kanao e chige wa homa.
The guard.
Ego heitte goimto ne ginto sa sego chuhat.
And apparently he went and surprised him.
Kinuten tuok
They fought.
kisagu te heugin pa hewane.
He defeated him and killed him.
Ego home gisahkam kseto maekta gagiache mot.
And when he was done, it was then he told.
Igi sinne pa haga wagas te oaset ka kikanoi mato himsatema.
After I had killed this Blackfoot who was looking after these horses,
Maskosia ho hengio nigi paskop te no se aski.
I pulled up some grass from the earth.
E guanma he gia pa chihta ano he maskosia he kana chihta ano mane mohkoma.
And it was that grass that I used to clean my knife.
Ka kiomi ko hektau se pa kwama.
I wiped all the blood off of it.
Ega ka ne mohkoma ne gia suatan maga.
And I put my knife away.
Hegi mamam tu nehtaman ki spin kautta kohti anoma.
But I was thinking, if I manage to get back home,
Ne hianach. Kanohtek skeita magaisinoak. Tantegi
to
tohten
Cree
tansegi
country,
takam ksit.
the people will be curious about where have you been and what did you do.
Ekspi ki spineksi hai spaige.
And at that time, if that comes to pass,
Nika yaatse mostoa okoma.
I shall tell them the story
Kagi pei tohte anete.
of the place that I traveled to.
Mina taneke hegi no swano gogi chihta ak maga na moya o che atemagik na moya o che mskawagik.
And why I had been chasing these warriors, but I could not find them.
Kagintom skamane te hogi kaskte oese tage e wiiktsik.
I went and found a Blackfoot village.
Ego hekta kagi utne magan hote moa.
And it was from there that I acquired their horses.
Ego higo kegi mekska tehta mehko jaan ki spin mostinta o.
And I was very worried and concerned if they should discover me.
Miskautao
That was just a bunch of false starts.
ki spine miskago jaan.
If I should be found or discovered,
Ego sana nika gisi wagui.
that would be it. They would finish me off.
Nigagisiwak. Interesting.
Ekse suoskuas nigi pe maatsi hon. Na moin tuo haasteesi maug na moin tuo pakten augusaamistahi.
And so I just traveled. I did not allow these horses
Ka pe mitsa tigo ginte ma ka hachi o mana poge gi pe ai wepian.
to eat for long periods of time. I would only have short rests.
Eko na moin tuo katskihtaan kan pajan. Pugais ka ganaga tumhke ano ka pe giwe tahagi.
And I could not sleep because I had to look after these ones that I was bringing home.
Eko se sana. Tapoi ka gi pe tagohta hatu ta ka gi nakskago tohi.
And so it was that he was able to bring those here where he was met by the scouts.
Eko se sana. Tapoi ka gi pe tagohta hatu ta ka gi nakskago tohi. On toahtaa ka gi pe giwe tsahamago toho tema.
Who herded his horses back home for him.
Ego he umego he nimihto. Ega gisimok.
And then there was dancing, prayer, thanksgiving.
Ega ko I hunt kau e pe waina mio tago te to mo kotawane.
That this one with no name had managed to come back to his home.
Ego homa ga giwi ko ke ka gi pihtoa.
And there was feasting and smoking.
Ka gi mio ata me koma he gi mai se mamion getawa.
That it was celebrated the great good fortune this young man had had.
He gi mai se mamio oskawito tahoma.
That he acted upon this in a good way.
Meskado ka gi pe mamtimet.
The trail that he was on.
Ekta he sa nagagi nito mo toho ge mao.
It was then that he was invited by the chief.
Ahaw, ega go we hunt. Astam.
The one with no name, come.
Peatse mo staunan tantegi tohtein. Tansegi mai si tsegein.
Come and tell us, where have you been and what have you done?
Atse mo stawek kita isinim nawak. Ikakskehtakik.
Tell our people so that they will know.
Ekse san megi wa pahti hatan mo moskusia he me gwa atse mo toma.
And it was then that he showed them the grass as he was telling the story.
Kaginto pihko hato he. Misatemo, kagin pahatan he.
That he went and acquired these horses and killed that one.
Kapm gano e chigate.
Who was looking after them
me.
and how difficult it was.
Can you top this up for me? Please, thanks. Emanape aste sika po. There's a little bit at the end there.
Emanapeaste sihkapo. Emanaste, he was avoiding rest. He was avoiding trying to rest.
Nantau saate mi chome egisi mamikusaate tahum.
In case he should be overtaken was his concern.
Yakusana. Egisaate mut.
And it was then, after he had spoken,
Anma, tante hegiai tohte, tansegiai tahamkset.
where he had been and what he had done.
Go mamaskusi ewa pahte hat muntonekta mi kohe aguamoik.
That he showed this grass that had all this blood on it.
Eukta homa ogas kteoja se te, kas kteoja se tegi pahkohamogomi koen.
This is what I used to wipe the blood of this Blackfoot.
Egisin pahak heitötes.
After I had killed him, he said.
Yksan mietigi saatsi motan he. Kagi te poate kotoge mao.
And it was as he was finishing his story that the chief summoned him.
Astam. Mahtinego pahteinan he kata hunaman.
Come here, let me see what you're holding.
Yksesa tapo iginto miatan hoge mao.
And so it was that he went and gave those to the chief.
Thank you.
He wahanoge mao esa. Igi kanawa pahtakan.
And that chief looked at that grass.
Kapix kwatatan he kai go I hunt kap mai te go sit.
And he spoke to this one who was known as no name.
Metone he mami tehi koma kanta uita kamksin.
You have made us very proud with what you have done.
Mini go kape misigi we chigain.
With all of the stuff that you have brought back. With all that you have brought back, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Mistahan me itagi te go nanma.
That is of great value.
Huia mi te tai sino ki kawautan ge to mi te kagi tohte inoma.
whereby many people will benefit from where you have been.
E kwa anot utahote o skinigo.
And from this day on, young man,
E kai ko I hunt kai te ko sian mana.
you who are
Namoia ki
called
tuam.
no name,
Namoia
never
ki
again
tuam.
Never again.
Ui ka tau ia ke kse. Kai si ka tik.
will anyone ever refer to you with that name again.
Anot ki wa pahte nan. E ki spina tamasoin.
Today you have demonstrated
Ui hoen. Indoneso ka ke mamatawa.
Today you have demonstrated eki spinatamaso that you have earned.
Ui hoen. Indoneso
A
ka ke
name.
mamatawa.
Very powerful spiritual name.
Ui ka swaho he ka pe ki o hetai.
Sweetgrass is what you have brought home.
Ano so ta hoche. Ui ka sko ki sein. Ki ka iti kusen.
And from this moment on, you will be known as Wihkasko Kiseyin.
E o ganan ma. E kuta he ki spina ta ka ui hon. Ui ka sko ki sein e ka mana kai ta ya ko makaya te maya.
And it was then that he earned this name, Sweetgrass. Our ancestor that we tell stories about.
Wow. I think that's as far as I want to take it tonight. I wanted to get to that part of the story, but
You can't take it anymore?
we covered a lot. We've covered. I think we left off at 16 minutes in and 41. So yeah, we've covered quite a bit, and we've got
I
about.
love this story, man.
It's a good one. I really. Every time I just reflect on this last 6 or 7 months, like starting with the camp last summer, I remember when we were sitting at the I came out of my trailer first thing in the morning that first day, and Arden and Charlene came over, and I don't remember if Jasper was there. We're sort of like circled around the trailer drinking coffee and sitting around, and then you told us a short version of the story. I think you even told it in the language, but I was busy with coffee, so I didn't really catch it. And then I heard it again later on. I think you retold it in English the second time. And so I think by the time I captured this, by the time we recorded this story, I'd probably heard it 3 or 4 times in a shorter version of some kind. And so I was so excited to, when we sat down and started transcribing with the group, this was the very first story that I tied into, because I just really wanted to know all of these words. And there's actually still a bit, I think next week when we get into some of the rest of this, there's quite a bit more in here where there's still a lot of words I'm figuring out. So this has been really great. I'm really grateful you shared this one with us, because it's such a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bill says, Bill Relic says, wow, doesn't quite put words to it. Yeah. Yeah, this has been great. Yeah, so do you have any? I know we're just kind of tossing this out there, but you mentioned the idea of uh, we're 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 looking around. It looks like we might have a line on someone to help us source some teepee poles for the teepee you've got there. Did you have an idea of any kind of ballpark timeline for when you might want to get the teepee set up? Is the camp sort of where you want to start that, or did you want to get something going before then, or what did you have in mind, Wes?
I actually, was thinking it would be nice to have it set up here so that when people do show up, that want to do something, want to, have ceremony or make offerings or have a feast. I mean, I got a big teepee.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to be able to move that over to the campsite when the campsite is here,
Mm.
and do our language component, our oral historical segment of that camp, because there is a lot of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a good idea to do not only presentations on different aspects, but also an update on what the work that we're doing. I
Yeah.
think people are really starting to notice. I got, I went for gas in North Battleford at the Gold Eagle gas bar and come out of there, and this woman was coming out of the gas shop. She said, "Are you the guy that makes Cree videos?" I listen to those.
Yeah.
and she said, "And this guy, my husband, he's a Nahawino." And she was talking in Cree, and that guy said, "I don't understand what she's talking about." "Oh, she's telling me what a wonderful, fine guy you are," I said to her. "That's probably why you didn't understand it. You probably never hear that."
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indigenous Ricky Card says, "Take me with you, Aaron. Pick me up when you drive through Kelowna." Wes is famous. My parents watch the videos too. Yeah. Nahkuinuak. Yeah, Nahkuinuak or Anishinaabeg, Soto. Yeah, those would be.
Now, Kawinawak would be I the Soto, but basically plains Ojibwe.
Mm,
You see, yeah, still Anishinaabe. Eh? It would be just like all this whole tribe of Anishinaabe. I mean, all of these different dialects are like siblings in a family. They're all related.
yeah.
They all have the same genealogy in terms of language.
Yeah.
Yes. And these stories, my God, these stories, some of the ones that I actually went back yesterday, the last couple of days, I've been re-listening to all my the videos I did with Charlene too, and there's some amazing stuff on these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell these stories and I never watch them,
Mm,
but because the second season is going to come up, I thought I should watch these things just so I know what's happening here, at least have an idea. And I was actually quite surprised and impressed,
mm,
really pleased with the quality of the work that we've done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same. I just started getting into the second week. I've kind of taken a couple of runs at it because, um, again, it's about. I'm never sure if it's like, oh, should I cut this up into a couple of stories or leave it as one? And I'm never And so I thought, I just need to get into it and start getting these done. And I started watching through and rendering some of these stories down. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot we talked about that. Oh, I forgot we talked about that too. Like there's all of these little bits and pieces. And one of the things for me is that when I watch the stories now, because we've done so much work together over these last few months, I understand so much more of the stories as well, in terms of just a deeper understanding, or even lots of times just words that I have no idea what they meant back then, but now they just tie back into the things that you talk about all the time. So and so they're appropriately named Papa, because it's just like picking up those little bits at a time. Yeah, bits and pieces. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're gonna wrap up there. We're coming up on time here. We're just about at 8 anyway, and it's so just if you're joining us on the live at the end there, I'll just drop this one more time. You can find these stories if you hit my link in bio from either Facebook or TikTok. You can find these Sweetgrass Stories, a 21st Century Perspective. And I just started uploading the second week of stories onto the YouTube channel there. You can find those stories there. And also, it sounds like there's a teepee going up soon, and there's going to be maybe a gathering or gatherings coming up. So we don't have any dates on that kind of stuff. We're just kind of self-organizing here a little bit. But do you have any idea when Sweetgrass is planning their culture camp? Have they said anything yet?
They have. I just don't recall, but
Okay.
I can get that information to you.
Yeah, so we'll get it out on Facebook or something anyway. So if you'd like to come and sit down, I think it would be wonderful. We have a whole group of people here who we've been collectively working on these stories for months now, and wouldn't it be really cool to just sit down in one place together for a few days and share more stories and listen and practice language? I think that would be wonderful. So yeah, we'll just keep pushing that forward if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah. Edward says, Miwa, sin good story. Christy Oje, Tagake, thank you, Doyle. So yeah. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there tonight. Once again, mitnim namiuete no magakyo kiwa gape tagosini e gape tagote e kanuts. Egapin pe nan tuttamake to come and listen to these stories with us. And we'll fire up again next week on Sunday about the same time and see if we can get into the rest of this story, and we'll take things from there. So with that, I hope everybody mio tipskansik kakio, everybody have a great night. And also, don't forget, we do a private transcription group over Zoom on Mondays. If that's something that you're interested in, you can message me on TikTok or Facebook. We have a group of learners. We just get together and we transcribe some of these stories and just talk about some of the words and grammar and different stuff like that. So if you're interested in some of that, let me know and we can get you hooked up. Okay, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, muestas.